Good evening, everybody. It is May 6, 2025. I call to order the regular select board meeting for the town of Swanton at 6:03 p.m. I ask everybody to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda review. Start with Christina. Kathy.
I'm good, thank you.
Nicole. Pearl. Good. All right. We have a couple things. After public comment, we'd like to do the library update. If Laz shows up, that way we can get him back out of here. I guess we are on the clock with him. And then highway item E, I'd like to add garage parking lot paving. And I would like to consider moving up Newtown Business, Hodgson Brothers to right after the library update. That way they can, should be fairly quick to approve that and then they can head out of here. Everyone's good with that?
Yep.
Good evening, Laz. Nick, anything?
Nope.
Steve, you're good? Brian?
Okay, I got two things, under highway, the opening of the bid for the Swanton Hill blasting.
Okay, we'll make that F.
Okay, and, also under new business, we got a late request, for a donation to purchase material for 2 picnic tables from the, for the railroad depot of the Historical Society. They're looking for materials, to buy the materials, it'd be roughly $380. And that would be under new business.
Okay,
That's it.
very well. Meeting topics, minutes of the regular, there's 3 sets of minutes. Regular select board meeting of April 15th, 2025. Special select board meeting of April 22nd, 2025. And a special select board meeting teleconference of April 30th, 2025. If no one's opposed to it, we will approve all 3 together.
Motion to approve all the sets of minutes.
I'll second. Motion's made and seconded to approve the 3 sets of minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Public comment, that's for public comment on issues that are not on the agenda tonight. Anybody? We have one on TV. Do they have any public comment? I don't see it. They're not unmuted, okay? Because they can actually unmute, right, from there,
Right.
from there, okay. With that said, we will now move ahead and bring Laz up and get a library update. No such thing as a small project, no Laz?
Oh, it's a tiny project. The ductwork's been removed that we needed to remove. It was done last week. We found some ductwork that we couldn't see that we had to remove. And then the other piece we found was that there were some refrigeration lines just to give you an idea. The elevator's on this side of the building, so there's a little knee wall that helps support this framing. And there was a bunch of refrigeration lines that were mounted on that wall, which prevented the insulators from having access to insulate. So what we did is we had maybe 3 or 4 days of those lines cut so they could get into insulate. So when they come back not next week, the week after, they're gonna reconnect the lines, they're gonna reinstall the ductwork, and we'll go from there. They did everything and the extra work they needed in the timeline that they had given us originally, so they're not anticipating giving us any extra costs for removing a couple of ductworks and doing the lines. However, if it takes them longer to put the extra duct lines in and the refrigeration lines, we may get charged for something.
Okay.
We found that the mechanical ceiling, where we were assuming would have fiberglass in it, had cellulose in it, which we were kind of surprised. And then we also found along the eaves, we found cellulose below the boards. So the insulator spent maybe 3/4 of today removing that cellulose, and there's gonna be an extra. And I have the costs here so you can see them. But they're planned to be done hopefully Thursday. They said today went really well. And then Monday they will start doing the insulation work. And they're planned to be there right now, Monday through Thursday. Depending on how it goes, they may need Friday to deal with the east entry that we're gonna talk about. But if it goes well, the ductwork people will come in Monday. They need the whole week to reinstall the ductwork, reinsulate the ductwork that was insulated, and then they'll be done. At that point, the project basically is finished. The guy who did the blower door tests will come back in June. And he will do the blower door test. And then we'll submit that information to Vermont Gas and see what kind of an incentive they will give us for the work we've done.
Nice.
So my hope is we're gonna get, it's an incentive.
Right.
But hopefully we'll get some money back. Patrick, who's been doing the carpentry work, has done some extra stuff that we couldn't anticipate till we got up in there. So I think his number is gonna be a little high, but he's been great to work with. Everything we've asked him, he's done.
Very responsive to
Very
getting the crews in there.
Very responsive. You know, he gets a little worked up, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So the east entry, I got some.
Thank you.
The first page shows we took some ceiling tile down, and there's a suspended ceiling, took that down, and there was fiberglass right on top of the ceiling. So we cut the fiberglass out, and so what you're looking at in both pictures is the roof framing that's exposed, uninsulated, and you can even see there's ductwork in here that's basically in the cold space that's uninsulated.
And Laz, just for the folks looking at this, that first picture, the insulation on the bottom of it is the top of the suspended ceiling. And then
Yes.
that, on the left, what looks like a wall is actually that arch
Is that arch?
when you come into the building, just to
That's right.
orient everybody
Yep.
to what
Yep.
we're looking at.
We don't know if part of the arch is in the building, part of the arch is outside the building. We don't know if it's insulated. Patrick was supposed to open it up, and I assume he did that. Did you see it at all?
I haven't seen it, but, well, I saw it, I didn't pay attention to it, I was looking.
So
I'll look
anyways-
tomorrow morning.
He was gonna open it up from underneath so we could insulate what we could. The insulators are gonna come back, and this first one is just the picture. So we've gotta insulate this little vertical section of wall. And then this is a section through that entry. So here's that little vestibule, and then you go to a little hallway where you can grab the elevator door or go up the stairs. So this area is the issue. We're gonna hit the underside of the roof rafters, but we're gonna also insulate this brick wall. This brick wall from the outside goes all the way through, and you can see it on the inside. And we're gonna hit that with insulation because we don't want cold transferring through into the space. Currently, right now, it just, there's nothing stopping it.
Yeah.
That insulation at the bottom isn't worth anything. It's not doing
That's
anything.
why all those tiles are stained, one of the reasons, right? All the ceiling tiles are stained in that.
So, and
Yeah.
we have extra, so we are going to replace the stained steel and tile with units that you guys have already.
So when that gets done, we're not gonna have that moisture issue up there anymore.
That's right. Yeah, well, that's
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be much improved.
It definitely will be much improved. So it should be nice. You shouldn't have the icicles.
Yeah.
Everything should be okay. So after that page are two change proposals from Shy Insulation. The first one is to remove the extra cellulose from the ceiling and also along the perimeter, and they want $1,000 and $1,020, which I think is pretty reasonable. And the next one is basically to remove at the entry the fiberglass insulation.
Yep.
And they're gonna put R38 on at the underside of the roof and then R22 on the walls. They gotta do the intumescent thermal barrier on the spray foam to protect it, and they're looking for $2,806.73.
So when we add them both together, 38, 26, 73.
Yeah, I think it's a really reasonable number. So
Yeah. Well, you were gonna probably have an issue with that.
but in all honesty, when I looked at it, I didn't even think about it till I saw the icicles, and I said, we gotta deal with something. I think it'll clean it up. I think you guys should be happy with it.
I think they're gonna be very much so.
And then if we can get some incentive for Vermont gas, even better.
Yeah.
So,
I would entertain a motion, well, if we get a motion and we can have some discussion, entertain a motion for a change order to the J contract. Am I pronouncing that right?
Shy.
Shy.
Yep.
My
No,
apologies.
no problem.
Shy contract for a total amount of 3826.73.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved.
I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything, or ladies as well.
I appreciate the time. I think this will make a huge difference.
Yes, I think it will too.
It's a huge difference, and there's been several little nuances as it goes, which is expected in an old building. It's being handled well. Thanks for your quick turn on stuff, and it seems like both contractors we have are very flexible at getting there and helping us
Yeah.
get this done.
The
So it's a
mechanical
big deal.
subs were really good, you know, they found, when they found the refrigeration lines, they called me and said, can you come up here and see this? We think this is gonna be the way, and so I went right up, and Ryan has been helpful in coordinating, getting the building open, getting the dumpster on site. I mean, I'm sure I'm taking away from his work.
Well, we're getting a larger dumpster tomorrow,
Good.
but not the 30, it's a 20 yard.
Okay,
When they arrive, I'm not sure if we have to keep that parking lot shut down tomorrow, because they park they're parking right across the front
so
lawn.
they didn't use that parking lot at all?
No, they're
Okay.
parked out front.
Okay, so when they come with the spray foam, they're gonna come with 2 trailer
Yeah,
trucks.
well, that will be.
And they'll probably use it
So
then.
I'll have Kevin and the guys come down
Yeah.
to take it first thing tomorrow morning, to open that up again, and they'll just park across the front lawn like they did, so working out.
Yeah, they may, when they have the foam truck, they may park that, at that rear parking lot. Cause their intent is to take their hoses and go through one of the awning windows. And remember, we did an access hole,
Yep.
and then there's an access hole in in front of the elevator.
Right.
I think that's how they're gonna use to get their
Okay.
spray foam
Yep.
hoses up there.
Okay,
So they may end up being in the back.
yeah, that's
But I
fine,
don't know.
that's
Yeah.
fine, we'll have it closed on.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
lads. Law enforcement. Swanton
I
Police
thought you were gonna
Department.
go Hodgson Brothers.
Hodgson.
I moved that up after the I moved it after the library under old business, but yes, let's go ahead and do that and let them get on their way. Thank you.
What this is that every 5 years, Hodgdon's brothers and sons that have to renew the license and get select board approval. They renew for purposes of a salvage yard. That's a state license, but they need the select board's okay, and that's what this is. Learning experience for me. I didn't realize there was such a license, and because I haven't been here 5 years. And what usually is done is that you approve it tonight, and they'll take it back with them, and they'll be set to go.
As far as you know, because we do this with a liquor license, we're not aware of any issues with the state as far as the operation.
Since I've been here, I've received nothing from the state.
Okay.
Any violation.
I make a motion, we renew the license for another 5 years.
A second?
Motion's been made and second to renew the license.
So I'll circulate this for
Any
safety.
further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. That was easy.
Yeah, nothing to do it. We'll sign it and give it back to you. I'll make a copy before, we'll keep a copy.
They want it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually they come back and the secretary mails it into the.
I heard the price of metals dropped significantly, huh?
Yes, and it just dropped again.
Wow. I know that's affecting somebody that collects it and helps keep things clean around here.
Yeah.
I'll take it and make a copy. I'll take it.
Oh,
That's because that's all shipped north, right? The majority of it?
A lot of it goes Canada, a lot of it goes Turkey.
Okay.
Oh, it must be expensive to ship it there.
That's not on me, that's on. Myself.
Yeah, I've heard of that where it goes across the oceans and they turn it into pipe and send it back this way.
It's weird, the steel I take to Canada, I live on South River, it goes to the steel mill, it gets melted down into these 8x8, about 40, 50 feet long, and it comes right back by my house.
Yeah, you see them on the tractor trailers there, yeah, on the highways. Yeah. Chief, you might as well work your way up here. We're gonna have you next.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So as this goes around, you'll see the top 10 incident types for the month of April were 46 traffic stops, 24 directed patrols, 7 suspicious incidents, 5 threatening, 4 agency assists, 3 community outreach, 3 restraining order, 2 motor vehicle complaints, 2 crash, and 2 custody disputes. There were 120 incidents total. Again, and you'll notice too, so the numbers don't quite add up, and it's because of the information's not been completed in the CAT-RMS system yet, so it didn't pull all the data that needs to be input into the system. So another example of a paperwork issue as far as, you know, the data has to be quality going in order to get quality data coming out. But the 9 traffic stops and 33 warnings don't line up with the 46 traffic stops. Officers have to issue a warning or a ticket, you know, in each traffic stop that they initiate, except in extreme circumstances, perhaps when they initiate that contact and then something else happens and they need a break. All tickets and warnings were associated with traffic. There were 3 arrests of 3 individuals and 3 charges. And there were 40 additional service hours, and the reason that number is so high also is related to essentially the traffic stops. So it's a force multiplier for us. We've had a few officers engaging in the governor's highway safety detail, primarily in town during the daytime, which has resulted in so much traffic enforcement. So that's a big help, and hopefully that's going to continue. To keep that traffic enforcement number up.
Chief, we usually see 80 to 90 incidents a month. This is quite a bit higher. Is it the weather?
It definitely is seasonal to some degree, so you will see that, you know, as we come into the summer, probably consistently higher numbers. I would have to go back and actually review the data from previous years to see, but yes, generally speaking, anecdotally, that's accurate.
If I look at that, the incidents includes the traffic stop, so.
It does,
So with
absolutely.
that extra patrolling too,
Yes, that's
That
boosted
would
that
help jump
number.
that number
Yes.
too, besides the warmer weather.
Yes, absolutely. But that's the expectation also, is that officers are gonna be engaging in traffic enforcement. It's more difficult during the winter due to the lack of, adequate shoulders to stop vehicles safely and that sort of thing. But, so that's certainly a positive. Another thing that I wanted to mention is that, I had the school district approach, the police department regarding a second SRO in the elementary schools. So that's really a preliminary conversation, but hopefully we'll be able to get that maybe off the ground prior to next school year. It may be a little creative budgeting on our part, but eventually the school district pays for the SRO that's assigned to the high school. And what we'd be looking to do is get them to pay for the second SRO position also, which I feel is invaluable. Because you're building those relationships with kids at a young age and providing school safety. And there aren't grants available right now. There's a school safety grant that's available through COPS, but it's more for infrastructure, and it specifically excludes sworn personnel.
That would take additional personnel, wouldn't it?
Yes. Yeah, but right now, so we still, again, this is preliminary. I've had one meeting with the superintendent, and because the grant that we were initially looking at, as I dug into it and did more research, it specifically excludes, again, sworn personnel. I think it's more for training for civilian staff, and again, for infrastructure, things like metal detectors, that sort of thing. If the school wanted to do something like that, that grant money is still available. And there are some things the school could do with that, certainly, and one of the balances is kind of the headache of managing these grants, because it is a lot of extra paperwork as far as the value goes. But there are some things that I think the school could use, as far as infrastructure goes. So I don't know, we'll have to have more discussions with the school district regarding that, but I think one of the challenges is we still now have these two open full-time positions, and so maybe some sort of creative solution where we essentially fill one of those positions with an SRO position. I know we have one individual who is interested in that, and quite frankly, it is a challenge. I have had conversations with several officers that are retiring after 20 years of service with quite a bit of experience, one of them being a very experienced SRO. And they just have zero interest in continuing to engage in law enforcement in uniform. So
Now,
it's a
when
tough environment.
when you say elementary school, would that position be split between the three, or would that just primarily be in Swanton?
So it probably would be split between the three. And again, I don't know what that would look like exactly, but yes, Franklin and Highgate also, most likely, probably some sort of schedule so that the officer was rotating through and making an appearance in all the elementary schools.
Yeah. If that's the situation, definitely school district's gonna have to cover that cost. It wouldn't be fair for just Swanton to cover that cost.
Yeah. But trying to get that off the ground initially, because my understanding is with our previous position, right, it was a COPS grant. And so it kind of staged down over the course of 4 years, where that fourth year the school district ended up assuming that cost of that officer over those 4 years. We don't have that opportunity right now. That I haven't seen that grant available. To try to do something like that where it's grant funded initially.
I remember at the village trustees meeting, you were talking about someone making a return to the Swanton Police Department. Is there any update on that?
Yeah, so that officer is interested in this position. So I think he's going to ultimately he's going to come back part-time, and he's ultimately going to make that decision at the end of the school year this year. So he's currently employed by in a federal system, but he's thinking of coming back. So it's looking pretty positive as far as getting an officer back.
And that would fill one of them, and then the other one would be
That would fill one of them, and we have the open position still, a second open position.
Another question I had just about the credit card ATM fraud. What does that generally look like in terms of things you're
Credit card fraud, so it could be a number of different things. A lot of times it's related to a theft. So somebody will steal credit cards, and then they'll use them in a fraudulent manner. They'll go into a store and make a purchase fraudulently using those credit cards. That's usually what that involves. Sometimes sometimes we'll have stolen checks as far as fraud goes, and then people are writing fraudulent checks. So that's usually what it is. But I would have to look at the specific incident to give you exact detail on that one.
Looking at the speeds, 11 to 20 seems to be very popular. 21 to 30 one time. What was that one? County Road, yeah. County Road is such a speed place that everyone's trying to get to the prison and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the usual suspects, right? Bushy Road 2,
About 105.
Woods Hill, 105. Yeah.
People
So
love
I spent quite a bit of time up there myself in the fall.
it. I don't live up there, but I've heard several complaints about 105.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty consistent as far as, you'll get the majority of people are within reason, but then you get those anomalies. So if you go up there, where I was engaging in traffic enforcement, right? The majority of vehicles coming by over the course of a couple hours were within reason, but then every once in a while you get one that was pretty extreme, like 15 over, 17 over.
County road's very flat too, so if you're really tempted to go faster on it if you're not watching what you're doing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and it's a through road.
Yeah.
It's the ones, a lot of them are the ones working at the prison.
Yeah.
Getting to work from New York. A lot of it's New York plates. When I drive it and see it.
See it right down here.
Yeah. All right, any other questions for the chief?
Thank you so much.
Fingers crossed for tonight?
yes.
Yes. A lot of us have our fingers crossed. We hope for some good news.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it definitely will be a huge benefit to the village. We certainly need the space. I mean, we're obviously operating in an inadequate facility, but doing our best. Our horizon is a little further out, but still, it'll make a big difference.
And, yeah, it'd be nice to hear that it takes place and then at least you know it's coming.
Yeah, and it's a positive benefit for the whole organization, right?
Absolutely.
Everybody's going to be able to
Absolutely.
spread out and have adequate space
Yeah.
to allow the organization to grow over time.
Very good. Thank you, chief.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, next item of business is the Swanton Health Officer. That report is on page 4.
Well, dog bites.
Yeah.
Now, how come the health officer gets involved? Was the animal control officer involved?
Oh,
too?
yeah, both get
They both get notified.
notified.
So if somebody goes to the hospital, the health officer will be alerted as well as the animal control officer.
And also the first one, that dog is registered now.
Okay, pretty straightforward as far as the items on here, but yeah. And it looks like we got one letter that Susie wrote and sent out.
That's been, that was a problem last year.
With the burn?
Yeah, right over here.
Same family?
I don't know if it's the same family, same building involved.
Is it affecting here?
No,
No.
no, it affects the neighbors on the street. And, you can have open burning unless there's a state burn permit within, she gave a copy of the, you cannot burn garbage, you can burn actual wood in a little fire pit, it's fine, but if it becomes a nuisance, you have to put it out. And, so last year I told the people who complained, and the landlord was very cooperative, and I told them, I said, if it's a problem and it's bothering you, call the fire department, they'll come put it out. And then we'll deal with that issue. But in any case, we'll see how this goes this year.
Yeah, well, this time of year, they wanna burn their brush, which are the wet leaves and the pine needles, and it can really smoke.
That
And
really smokes.
we had that problem down on our way with the
Yeah.
westerly winds.
Well, don't they have the option to bring that stuff up to the,
They do, yeah,
Leaves can go
Yeah.
to the, up off LaFar Street,
street, and,
and then, branches can go down by John's Bridge.
right,
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there's alternatives to do
Yeah.
all
there
that.
are.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Okay, anything else regarding, the health report? Okay. Highway Department, 2025 paving bid opening.
We received, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 bids.
Wow.
So I don't know if you each wanna take one, how you wanna do this, but they're there.
Well, you should probably, Joe should probably open them and read the email, at least.
All right,
She's got
I can do that.
She's got the pen ready, so.
Okay, first bid is from Pike Industries. On the bid schedule, they put a cost of $80.64. The estimate from the town was $4,800, so the total cost is $387,072. $387,072 and no cents. $80.64 per ton. Second item is from F.W. Whitcomb. Or the second bid, I should say, not item. And not a factor in the bid, but could be a factor depending on what happens with oil prices. Pike did put down $621 for the asphalt cement costs. Okay, second bid item from F.W. Whitcomb. Cost per ton, $88.90 for a total bid price of $426,720.00. They had $626 for an AC cost. Again, that only becomes a factor if that cost changes significantly during the.
The cost has already changed. 626 is the top right now.
What's that it is?
It has already changed to 626, but you guys are locked in at 621 under our contract.
And then with oil prices coming down, do we expect that to drop at all? I just heard oil prices came down.
I'm not sure how that's going to work because
And maybe a lag.
what's happening with that is all the liquids coming out of Canada.
So then you got
and
the
that's where
other,
we're getting hit with the fees.
okay. Thank you. And your name, sir?
David.
David. And I'm assuming from the hat, you're from Pike Industries.
Yes, sir.
Next item is from Hungerford Construction. Hungerford Construction came in at $88.00 per ton for a total contract, estimated contract cost of $422,400. And 621 is the number they carried for the AC cost. Next one is J. Hutchins Incorporated. J. Hutchins Incorporated, cost per ton, $3, excuse me, and 95 cents for a total estimated cost of $498,000 or $498,960.00, and they carried an ACC cost of $626. Parent low bidder, Pike Industries at $80.64 per ton. I would entertain if we wanted to go into executive session real quick to discuss this as a contract. And if not, we can discuss it out here. That's up to you folks.
Well, it's not really that close, is it?
Oh,
I don't know how much you to discuss, you know, Pikes have been doing it for years anyways, we had no problem with their work, and they gave us the price. I mean, $8, that seems like quite a bit of difference per ton, but.
It's, if you don't mind me speaking, it's been extremely competitive this year. Prices have been right around the anywhere from $80 to $90 per ton. So it's been really a swing and a miss on a lot of them. But we've been very competitive, and we've done a lot of work with you guys over the years. I, for one, have paved a lot of your roads up here. And when I was speaking with Kevin, we rode around, looked at the roads. I told him that we'd give him the best number that we possibly could to try locking this one in, because we truly enjoy working for you guys up here, and we have a plant right here in your town. We pay taxes up here, and it's something we can do to give back to the community for having our asphalt plant up here. So,
Okay, thank you,
something to keep
David.
in mind.
Board members?
I don't think we need to go into executive
No.
session.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that. I just throw that
No,
out.
that's good.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make
Go ahead.
a motion to approve Pike Industries as for the bid of, I don't have the
$80.64 per ton for an estimated
$80.64 per ton for an estimated,
380, you got that?
$380,072, correct?
387 and $72.
$387.70, $387.
$387,072.
I don't know if you did better or worse.
I think you got it at the end.
Yeah, we don't wanna be several decimal points off on this one. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the the Swanton Town paving contract to Pike Industries for the per ton cost of $80.64 for the estimated contract cost of $387,072. Any further discussion?
Do we have a second?
Earl seconded it.
Steve seconded.
Oh, Steve did, I'm sorry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those favors state aye.
Thank
Aye.
you.
Thank you, David. We'll be in touch.
Sounds good. I'll reach out to Kevin in a couple days and see what we're setting up.
Very good.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Now, a couple questions.
Yep.
This does not, include the
Grant,
grant,
no.
okay. We did budget 450,000.
Yep.
We're fixing the library, that parking lot probably wouldn't hurt to do a little repaving around there.
You can pave ours too when you're at it.
Part of that parking lot isn't ours. Most of it belongs to the Methodist church.
In the village.
Well, it
In the
does
village.
get used for public use,
I don't disagree with that, but I just, I think we need to ask permission from all those.
Yeah. What I would like to do is, we're gonna talk about in just a minute, the paving grant as well. And some other things, so we think about it a little bit before we,
Okay.
cause that is one that needs it. Maybe we can do some other work there too.
Yeah.
Let's use our money wisely.
And make that decision, cause there is more potential going on paving this year than any year in our history, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit in just a minute. So, yeah, library's one, and then what I hear, rec, but,
Rec is another one, yes.
okay. So, Swanton Hill update, which to me, we added the bid opening, but that is really part of the
Yep.
Swanton Hill, so let's open that up and have that discussion.
Received one bid.
We received one bid from Ledge Tech. Kevin and I met the rep from Ledge Tech up there and walked over the whole site. They also gave us the bid the year before. Seemed very knowledgeable of the business, what needed to be done.
The Bakersfield?
That for the blasting?
That's the gentleman was, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the company itself is out of North Troy.
Yeah.
I mean, envelope here. This is for the blasting. The blasting only anticipates a week worth of work up there. Of course, weather could change that into a second week, but the good news could only be a week. With Kevin and his team up there, we can definitely keep one lane open for emergency vehicles for the 3 residents up there for delivery. So that project should very well become a reality this year, which includes some paving up there.
Yep.
Okay. Let me take a quick peek here. That's his insurance. Okay. Road blasting. Mobilization first is $1,600 and the road blasting is $67,000. $67,500 for a total of $69,100. And he does talk about a possible reduction, and he gives us a price of $6 per square foot. Depending on how much ledge is found, it could go either way. But right now, the price is $69,100. I don't have the old figure to compare to, but it was significantly less, if I remember right. What I would like to do is to wait until the next meeting to decide whether or not to award this. I don't know if everybody's good with that. Then what we talked about in our request for proposal was a 1 July start, no earlier than 1 July start date. And Ledge Tech thought it would probably be the end of July before they could start.
Is delaying the decision going to
Impact their start date.
impact the start date?
It could.
Is the scope of work the same as we had before?
Well, the original scope of work was to come over
Yeah, to go straight.
to go straight. Kathy, do you have the, I don't think I have the town
Did
highway
he have
budget.
the date? We never really got a bid, we just had an estimate
this
for
year?
that, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I would consider it,
Current budget?
Yeah, but who
Yeah,
made
the
the,
contract.
was it Ledge Tech or was it?
I think both of them did. I think there were 2. No, that wasn't Tyler. I thought we had a number from Ledge Tech and from the other company.
These are bids from last year that we didn't proceed with the project from last year.
Well, we had to,
Is this what you
there
want?
were, yes, thank you very much. There were several issues. One was the getting permission from the homeowners. One was coming straight over the hill, which after looking at it, I brought Tyler up there and we discussed it. Coming over the hill, we had to do land swaps and all the paperwork with land swaps. Might get into a little bit of wetlands at the bottom. And Tyler agreed if we stayed with the same geometry, we're actually using a longer distance to drop it down. And end up with probably even a lesser of a slope. So we had to get a full design. It took quite a while. So road improvement project, we budgeted this year 60,000 and we carried over 149,500. So basically, you got 209.5 to do the work up there. Take off the 60. You got it over there.
69.
69,
Rough.
69.
A little over 130 left.
All right. We have to buy some stone, but we're gonna haul it all, so there's not a huge stone cost. The only
Yeah.
other cost is paving.
Fortunately, we're most right there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and the paving.
so there's gonna be a fair amount of diesel fuel because we're gonna be
Yeah.
operating up there for quite a while.
Yeah.
Stone's not gonna be that expensive, and the only other issue is paving. I started thinking about it more, and I'm gonna talk with Kevin. I know he'd love to pave it end to end this year. Some talk of just putting on the base course, especially in the area where the blasting takes place, because we can do so much to try to pound that down, compact it, but we could see some settlement over the
Yeah.
course of the winter. So why put a nice finish course on it and then have it twisted a little bit in the spring? So I do not know, without going to find some figures, and I can't keep them all in my head, of what the paving number is.
Now, were they gonna finally put the final coat on the rest of the road up there?
Oh yeah,
That's
this is from
you're
turning
gonna-
off French Hill Road up to the house.
Yeah.
We were gonna do the whole thing where we talked about using the carryover.
Oh, up to the houses, not just the area we're fixing that.
Pave the whole thing. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's all falling apart. It was never put a top course on.
No, I know, that was part of the problem.
And when you get past the culvert, it's already breaking up pretty good. So the idea was to pave that whole road. And I gotta look at the numbers, and that's why if we hold off on that other balance there and we take a look at this,
Yeah,
and then this, we could just put the base down this year and finish it next year too. There's a lot of options right now.
yeah. But on that blasting number, I mean, we only got one bid, there's not very many blasters around, so, I don't know what, even if it was estimated less than that, previously, if it's gonna really make any difference, are we gonna be able to get it for less?
Great question that we didn't get another bid.
No.
You sent it to the other
Yeah.
ledge folks,
Yeah.
right?
I did.
It's probably because they're booked.
So-
Probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you think of it, if he's there 5 days and you're running that drill machine and you're gonna have 2 technicians up there and the explosives,
Imagine what the insurance is.
you know?
Work-
Yeah,
Workers' comp.
I certainly, Earl, I would say we probably aren't gonna get a better deal. If we wanna
I don't think
award
we're
it
gonna-
tonight, we get it into the queue to get it done.
Yeah, because, we'd like to get that project done. There's a safety issue
Definitely.
there for, especially for our employees, so, we got an opportunity to do it. We have a little extra money now left over. That's why we should hold off and see. Because maybe we should, we're doing the project, so let's get everything done that we can this year and paid for. And if we have to go in, like you say, with a final coat next year or something, we can budget for it,
Yeah,
So you wanna take a look at your notes and we'll talk about this next week?
if everyone's pretty comfortable, then I say we award this and get it in the queue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll make the motion that we give the contract to Ledge Tech for the amount as stated.
69,100.
That's correct.
69,100, yes.
Yep.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. We'll get that, signed and back to,
Yeah. You want
Do we have to authorize the sync for
Well,
Brian?
right, whoever you want authorized to sign it.
Well, then I'll move. Do you want it? You?
No, I don't care who
Okay,
signs it.
because Brian, that'd be easier. So I'll make a motion that Brian, town administrator, be given the authority to sign the contract.
There a second?
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Very good. Progress up there. Haven grant update, page 11.
Which is basically the email that I received from Steve Stanley, who's the District 8 project manager, stating that we've been selected and put in the queue, because it's not final approval and it's never over until it's over in Montpelier. But it's pretty promising.
So that's what we talked about, a possible 1 mile on County Road and 1 mile on McQuam Shore.
Where does it start?
McQuam, we would start on the south end most likely. I know there's a bad stretch north. That gets into this whole other discussion of how far do we go, because now we get some state money. In fact, let me back off. Probably because it is a town highway class 2, we don't mix our money in with it. We continue to try to do that with grant money. But this was very close to $200,000. We have to match it. But that's real good news. What that could help do too, and we have a bigger discussion, is we use some of our paving maybe because we're getting some other monies and offset the culvert up on
Berry Road.
thank you. Senior moment there, up on Berry Road. So there's a lot of different things here we can talk about at subsequent meetings, but this is great news for a few pictures and some filling out a couple forms. It's some big money, so hopefully we get the money to design that culvert, but at 25,000, if we don't get the money, I think we should figure out in the highway budget where to come up with the money and get that design.
I'm sure we'll be able to cover that cost.
We can find that.
Yeah, because that needs to be done.
That needs to be done. Okay. Discussion on north end of former Shoalen Road. Earl's the one who asked to have that put on the agenda for tonight. So
Yeah, so, you got the 207, you got Bushy Road, you got the old Shoalen Road where you access it. Now we have the new access, and it's all in that corner, so I guess it's time that we decided that road should be, that little short section should at least be shut down so traffic doesn't access it, have the opportunity. They have to access from the new road.
How long is that section?
I'm not sure footage wise.
quarter mile maybe.
Yeah,
Oh,
not
less
very
than
long.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, my thought, and I don't think we're ready to give it up yet, but I agree with you, we could put some type of barriers
Yeah.
in, and that way
Yeah.
the recreational vehicles could
Yeah,
still use
yeah.
it to access
Yeah.
the other part of Shoalen Road and Bushy Road,
Yeah,
but we could put some barriers up there,
yeah.
so even some,
And then down on the other end, on the further east end of it, where the new road, comes into it, there should be maybe some signage there that says no access to Bushy or 207 from here. Because the farmer might wanna use that road to get into the field, but he's not gonna be able to get people aren't gonna be able to drive on there. 207, you have to go up the other way. And just a comment I had from one of the farmers that was using some of that land down there. And he's a lot more comfortable with this new access than the old one. A lot more comfortable.
God, it's better.
Yeah, you got a lot better vision, it's a lot safer.
so the remaining land's fed by that short section.
Yeah.
Is it the same farmer on the east and west?
I believe that Mark St. Pierre has that land, and he has some on the other side too. And then Cody Lesperance has some further down Shoal Road.
Cause I wonder if we have a conversation with Mark and he just puts a separate little access to his fields, that way we can block that. If we leave that wide enough for today's tractors and equipment, cars still,
Well, I mean, at some point in time, I assume we might be giving up. Now, here's another thing. I had another conversation. I know David Hubbard well, and we were up there looking at that, and of course, it's his daughter started that store. They sold it, and they do get some access off the rail trail going there, but they don't go up to 207. And maybe we should sit down and talk with, because I think Mr. Cummins still owns that land. They go across that way by where the church is, just on the other side of the church, instead of and to get into there. These are snowmobiles we're talking about.
Right.
Is that a fast trail?
Well, the rail trail is.
Yeah, I realize that, but the other access by the church, is that just?
No,
It's
that
it's
is
an
not. I
accommodation?
don't know if they have. That's what David was going to find out a little bit more about that. If it's just something that they had an okay to use it, or or if it's actually set up as a fast trail. You need to find out about that. And if that's the case, then there isn't a lot of reason for the town to keep that portion of the road in the future. And then it would revert back to the landowners half and half. Right? Is that how it works?
I'd have to do some research on
Yeah.
that, but that would make sense. But,
Yeah.
okay? For now, we look at a way to block it off.
Yeah,
Okay.
and talk with Kevin and see what he thinks would work well, and then probably get the signage down at the other end of it so that
North end,
yeah,
on where it hooks to Bushy Road.
yeah.
Okay? Everyone good with that?
Yeah.
More to follow. Okay. Old Town Business, library, we talked about
We're gonna
quarterly.
talk about the garage
Garage
parking lot paving.
Sure glad I got you folks here to keep me honest. Yeah, speaking of paving, we put total of $35,000 in the line item for garage maintenance. No, you can't have that one. You can have those two.
Thank you.
To do the paving of the parking lot. And as part of the, Whitcomb using that for parking their trailer there. We talked to them a little bit that, show us a little bit of goodwill. And they obviously couldn't pave the whole parking lot at the prices we're talking about to put their job trailer there, but this is what they came up with. And I had estimated 30+ thousand for the paving and a few thousand for garage maintenance if we needed it, and that's why the line item's 35,000. Whitcomb's coming in, $95 a ton, which isn't totally bad for a small project. It's not like they're doing a mile of highway, so 95's not bad. But then they're giving us a $6,000 credit. So if they just mill the section by the new garage and put 1.5 inches on that, and then the other area, Kevin preps it all and they put 2.5 inches of asphalt and 1.5 inches of top, they'll do it for basically $27,000. If we remove all of the pavement, which Kevin agrees we don't need to, with their $6,000 that they take off, they'll do it for $32,950. I'm very comfortable. I think we're getting a very reasonable deal at $26,875 to pave the parking lot up at up there. And Whitcomb, their actual bid to do the highway was $88.90, $9. So you take $6 difference a ton for 338. That's $1,800, $1,900. So if you go, but again, it's a smaller area which can generate a higher cost per ton. I think it's very reasonable.
Well, within the budget.
Yeah,
And Kevin is agreeable to the 26,000.
Yep.
Cause that's gonna create work for them, but, you know,
Well, no, actually, it's a little bit less because it's the pavement. If you were to look at the new garage, the new concrete, and the pavement just off the new concrete, there's no real issues with big sags or anything. They're just, Whitcomb, instead of us removing it all and starting from scratch, which Kevin would remove it all, Whitcomb's gonna bring their planer in, just plane that area. And then Kevin will do the prep on the other side, so it's actually a little less work for our person and saves us money. And potentially we would have $6,000-7,000 of extra money in the highway, which
Yep.
we're talking about other
Yep.
ways to possibly spend it, so. I think-
well, I'll make a motion that we approve, Whitcomb's 26,000, how much was that?
875.
26,875, to repave the, town garage parking lot.
There's a second,
I'll second that.
and I guess I would ask, do you wanna amend it, so we say who can sign this, have Brian sign this? as well?
Okay, and also to have Brian, be able to sign for the town.
Do I hear a second on that as well?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. Now we'll go to the quarterly financial review. You had passed out budgets previously.
Yeah, last meeting.
Does anybody need copies? Take me just a second, I thought I threw
I
mine
didn't
in
leave
here.
mine at home, but I don't want to.
I got an extra in the library department if one wants it.
Yeah, I thought for sure. Oh, that's gonna put it over there.
That's right on my desk.
Oh, here's the library.
Well, you wanna take just a minute and get copies made?
Well,
If you wanna do Betsy ahead of us, you can, I'll make copies of mine and then.
I gotta stay for the bylaws anyway.
Okay, alright, then it'll only take me a second, throw these in the copier.
I wouldn't mind just a couple minute recess if everyone's good with that, we'll make copies. We're doing pretty good on time, I think.
I brought all mine, so yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
I've got mine.
okay.
What I don't have is, and I didn't know if the rec had it revised and anything with the, special funds. Okay.
I'm moving just a second.
You take your time.
Did you have
Earl,
the
you
copies
got
of
it.
the
I'll be
budget
right
stuff
back.
with you? Okay. Make you a copy too. So 4 copies.
Okay, general fund. Taking a look at the quarterly budgets, 1 January to 31 March, 2025. Right, not 2024.
Oh, yeah, 2025, yeah.
Which it says down below, but I'm just,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
I knew that on all of them, I did too.
You had a couple notes here. Stipend increase. General fund, election expenses. Computer consultant. Disaster recovery, that was part of the
Yes,
kitchen project.
right, then. No, disaster recovery is our computer system, our whole memory systems. So if something goes down, recovery, one, it recovers all of our data, and one, they'll set us up at a location off-site so that we can continue working. Something should happen. So it's all part of the cost for.
it's like insurance.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But it's like an annual
It's an annual cost.
contract or
Yes.
whatever. Oh, okay, that's why you say no more. Cost to be posted.
I don't know, I was looking down through here, Kathy, nothing's out of the ordinary in here, we're not spending, we're spending the
No,
way we
we're
should.
pretty much on target where
Yeah.
we should be. There's a
Yeah.
couple things that are over, but like the animal control is a little bit higher, but we had the couple stays for.
Yeah, well, that's gonna get hard
Dog,
too,
so, yeah, right.
all that bites.
So pretty much everything else is
Yeah.
in line with what's
Yeah.
on the budget.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve, or, I mean, we approved the expenditures, so I
Right,
guess
this
this
is
is
just
kind of,
basic
this is a
information.
review.
Just review.
I think coming within $1,000 is pretty good. All these numbers,
Okay, any other questions on the, general? Very good, we'll move on to highway. Couple notes Kathy put down, legal fees, we get the, extra work related to the Swanton, Rowell, MVSD, boundary line adjustments, land exchange, which we'll talk about later. Precision Lane, we had some, legal there, and quite frankly, legal's probably gonna go up a little bit more, cause we got the road takeover policy that we've sent and haven't heard back from, and we've been following up on that. So luckily, it's, in the range of smaller magnitude than a bunch of our other line items, and we can adjust accordingly if we need to. Truck purchase, Kathy noted that was paid out of the reserve funds. Any other questions, concerns on the highway budget? All right. Hearing none, we're gonna move on to the library department. So do we send them money quarterly, or we?
No,
Oh, this is the building maintenance, the fund that,
This is our,
got it, sorry, yep. So we're with.
this is what's on our books for
Yeah.
the library. The town budget for them.
Building maintenance could be a little bit of an issue there later on, possibly. We don't have very much, oh no, never mind. We only got 1,800 in them that we spent.
Yeah, it's still.
We have 18,000 left.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
how many years do we own?
Yeah, for that, especially for that building.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So next, we will move on to rec. So I think, Steve, you had a few questions. Let me share with you on that rec one.
You're talking about the rec budget?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a question, we're gonna learn how to read this better as we get farther into it. My question was, I think it was, did we have any, was this just straight income generated from our activities, or do we have some grant income that was extraordinary that was into that income figure, that's all?
This is just, there's no, this is just regular revenue.
Okay, no special grants, nothing like that?
Nope.
I think I had one other one, I forgot what it was. So,
One that I have is just out of curiosity, why do you lease the copier instead of just pressing it out, right?
I mean, we just follow the same as the
We
town.
lease ours too.
Yeah.
I imagine maybe for
And
repair.
it helps with the maintenance, so we don't have to maintain it, they come in and fix it, and
They
the same
send
with
out
the
toner.
And it
toners.
covers your toner,
Yeah.
your maintenance, so it's,
It's more
at the
feasible.
cost of toner,
Yeah.
it's worth, it's probably, the cost of toner is probably 3 times or 4 times as much as you're leasing it a month.
Mhm.
the other question I had, we pay off that tractor loan yet?
No, tractor loan's not paid off because we haven't approved our bylaws. Once we approve the bylaws, then we will, do that,
Why do
cause
you have to wait for that?
we don't have a purchasing agreement currently.
But I thought that was.
We don't have a purchasing agreement like the town. You added it into our bylaws. We have no purchasing agreement.
Okay, I'm confused. That had nothing to do with the bylaws. We told you to pay it off.
I don't remember you telling me to pay
Well, I
it
sent
off.
a memo out, everybody read it, and we talked about it here on numerous occasions. So let's get it paid off, okay?
I don't remember
Well,
receiving anything about paying off the lawnmower.
one thing we did though is give you at the last meeting purchasing authority, so you could up to
Offer.
5,000. I don't think you're over 5,000 on your balance.
I don't know, I'd have
It
to
was
check.
it was 59.98 original
Yeah.
loan, I think, so
Right.
that's something if you could take a look into it.
Yeah.
One of my questions and I asked was the special funds.
So we haven't had any money come in or out of the special funds this quarter at all.
No, but we were gonna,
Oh,
I don't see it as part of this submittal.
no, cause it's not reconciled fully yet, so
We're
should
still
have it.
working on it.
Once we complete it, we'll send it even if it's before quarter two, we'll send it before.
Yeah, I think I'd asked for reconciliation of that in my email to Brian, which I've probably sent to you.
Of what?
The
Oh,
special
special
fund,
fund.
if you get, when you,
As soon as we get it, we'll send it prior to.
do you think it's gonna take,
It was supposed to be done at the end of the month, so now we're into May 2, so I would hope within the next couple weeks.
okay, yeah. we'd
Because our
like to-
statement arrived the day of our last meeting, and then it's just it's a scheduling thing, but it's being worked on.
Okay, yep, so if you send that, then we will look at it and generate any appropriate questions.
Are we on the policy bylaw thing now?
That's the next step.
I have just a couple of minor questions. Looks like maybe in the rewrite, something got left out or whatever. You mentioned we were gonna have a vice chair, but it showed up in one of the drafts, but in Article 5, Section 1, you need to add the vice chair in there.
I found that also,
Okay.
same
And
one.
We said the limits are not.
Can you say that one more time, just so I can make a note to change it?
Article 5 officers, section 1, we just need to add vice chair.
Got it.
And then I think we said that the limits that had been recommended are not to be aggregated. So that's gotta show up in the,
Yeah, I looked at your comments and under expenditures, page 6, Article 6 expenditures, section 1. I think right after $5,000 in parentheses, if we put commas and put non-aggregated,
sure, that worked, yep.
that would satisfy that. If everyone's good, I think we were good at the meeting, we talked about where you don't do one purchase for 4,
Right.
for the same company, 4 again, and 4 again for 12,000,
Yeah.
and we just didn't get that word in there,
Yeah,
but
just some
that's,
internal control, that's all.
yeah.
And then maybe this is something that, I was asleep on. I thought we had limited the special funds account to 60,000, and then I saw in here, it said that we can't do that because if we get more than that, we can't accept it. And my thought was, well, we could raise it later if we needed to, but I thought the 60 was in, it didn't show up, so.
I remember getting rid of the special funds and just having a cap on the capital.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the 60 is, okay, it's gone.
Yeah, that's gone.
All right. And then I think we talked about, under Article 6, responsibilities, where we talked about hiring a full-time, I think we added full part-time, because we're gonna be adding a part-time person for a period of time. I'd like to get to that,
That's the very last
yeah.
sentence.
Yep.
Page 8, all full-time and full-time, part-time.
Yep.
Is that the right term, full-time, part-time?
Regular part-time,
Right,
regular part-time.
Yeah, so they're hired as a regular employee, but they're doing
Yeah,
less than
'cause you-
40 hours.
You gotta differentiate between your seasonal part-time.
Right.
Right.
yeah, which is understandable.
Right.
Is that all right if we add that in? Regular, part-time, okay?
So all full-time
And,
and regular part-time.
yeah, and then, is there anything else, Steve, that you
No,
had?
that was the only, I mean, sometimes those things get lost in the rewrite.
Not
Yeah.
entirely people hire
All right, I got just a couple. Article 3 on page 1, membership. The Recreation Commission will then submit, the word submit's missing.
Repeat one more time, please.
Section 2 under Article 3 on the first page.
Section 2 under Article 3.
The Recreation Commission will then submit,
Thank you.
and there's a period at the end of that sentence. Small stuff, but
Important.
yeah, and so we got the vice chair. And then page 7, first paragraph, I had mentioned, but we had a lot of discussion that night. I would put the word grants after fundraising. Cause you do fundraising, you get grants, you get gifts and donations. Again, small item, think we should put it in there. Section 4, page 7. First line, I think at the end of improvement, there should be a period, and then should be a capital T.
Easy changes. Got it.
Years of looking at regulations, sorry.
No, I appreciate it.
That's all I had. Anybody else?
Good job, hard work.
If the rec board feels pretty comfortable, Betsy, I think select board had signed this at our next meeting.
I'm good.
Everybody good with that?
No, we can approve it tonight, and then sign that the next meeting.
With the
Other changes.
recommended changes, I'm good with that too.
Yep, we approve it with changes as noted during discussion.
Then we will sign it the next,
Yes, that's the
Meeting is-
motion.
I'll make a motion to approve this one.
the girl just did.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been made and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed,
abstain.
I'm opposed.
so moved. Okay, land swap update.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, on the land swap itself, there is still, they're dealing with on the RAL property, apparently they're looking for a partial release. Our attorney has sent drafts, deeds to Tim Hurler's office, who represents the school district, and to Jesse Bugby representing RAL. And they also let Jesse know that the town will need that mortgage discharge or partial discharge as the portion of the property being conveyed to the town. Also attached is a select board resolution, which is relative to the authorization that for selling the property, and that how we acquired it through a tax sale, which we can sign tonight. Doesn't need to be done tonight, but it will need to be done. I sent off the rest of the information that she was looking for on the tax sale. Going back to the tax sale, we had to send them what the notice of the tax sale, the report of the sale, certified signed copies. We don't know what she's talking about there, so I've asked for clarification on that. And but she's got that all except the certified signed copies. Receipts, we don't know what they're talking about. So that's where that stands. Now this is an authorization that is a resolution of consent to the town select board that basically the town owns the parcel and acquired it by a tax collector's deed dated May 13th, 2022. And that you've entered into this agreement between the town and the Rowells and the Siskiyou School District for a boundary line adjustment, and then it goes on to give what the proposal will be for who gets what, and what we get in exchange, and that the proposed conveyance is the best interest in the town and taxpayers. We did publish the notice of this under the terms of the proposed conveyance in the St. Albans Messenger on October 15th and 18th, 2024. And we posted notice in 3 locations in the town of Swanton on October 15th, 2024. And this conveyance is expressly contingent on the town did not receive any petition pursuant to, it states the statute, by 4 p.m. on November 18th, I made a mistake there, it should be 2024. It's 25. So we aren't gonna sign that tonight, so,
Sign the back side.
yeah, if I don't find anything else.
Yep.
And so anyways, you're approving, the town approves the above described transfers of the 1.29 acres to Missisquoi Valley School District, 3.71 acres to Brian Rowell on parcel FI 0261 in exchange of transfer of 0.77 acres from Brian Rowell to the town. And the resolve that the town will transfer the above described properties to Missisquoi Valley School District and to Brian Rowell. And you are authorizing the town administrator to execute on behalf of the town. And that's pretty much it. We can sign that tonight, we need a motion, it's up to you, and the way that one will be done, ready to go when we get the stuff.
I'll move that we sign this resolution.
Okay.
Motion been made, seconded to sign the resolution. Any discussion? I would just note the one date
Yeah,
correction on
one
the
day
front.
correction on the front.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so
Okay,
moved.
you're done. I just wanna let you know that the new village building did pass by 149 yeses and 73 nos.
Well, good deal.
Good, good, Mark.
Good
Okay,
deal.
so we'll pass that. Thank you, Kathy, that's good news.
Yeah.
Oh, he sent it to me too.
So I got
I was busy
tomorrow, she
yakking,
was there
so-
witnessing it.
Yep, yep, very good. Thank God.
All right. Discussion of vacancy of Northwest Regional Planning Commission and Development Review Board.
I would advertise it and then kind of like advertise it like almost both, recommending both positions together in a way, if you could do that, because if you take the developmental review board position, maybe recommend that you also take the Northwest Planning Commission position as well.
Yeah, I would say, I would recommend they be separate. Right now we have,
Should we be dating this?
Yes.
Individually or? Individually.
Individually.
Okay.
and we'll get this signed and we can continue that discussion. I want to talk, a question for Nicole on it.
Development Review Board, somebody resigned?
Yes.
Yes.
You haven't heard?
No, I haven't.
Mr. Harold Garrett resigned. That was his second board. He said that he got a phone call from me and stated that, no longer wanted it, the select board no longer wanted his services on the TAC and on the regional planning. And he proceeded to resign that night. For the record, I will say I got a call from the Development Review Board chairman the next morning, a little upset. Explained to him what took place. And then he was fine with it. He and I go back a long time. For the record, on March 6th, I left a phone call with Harold Garrett right after our reorganization meeting. And I don't like leaving a lot of details in a phone conversation, but because it was a voicemail, I didn't know if you get a call from Northwest Regional Planning. I explained to him the decisions of the select board the night before and left it at that, told him to give me a call, and never received a call from him. And 2 months later, that is what took place.
We have to make a motion to accept his resignation.
Do we have it formally?
We did not get it in writing.
But I mean, it's
It's in,
Undocumented on
it's
camera.
in the minutes of the DRB.
Okay.
so. And back to what Nick's talking about. I think the two are separate, and I wanted to ask Nicole. Right now, you're on that rep to the regional, right?
Correct.
And which Swanton has two possible positions,
The town of Swanton has 2 open seats.
Yeah.
Well, one
one open seat.
seat. Yeah.
How critical is that other seat? How much business do they do? Because I'm just the chair speaking here from 8 years of being on the select board before, a little over a year here now. I don't hear a lot of feedback regarding that. And my understanding is that position was covered 2012 timeframe, I think, by the same person. So I don't know, do we really need 2 reps?
I would say yes. With the involvement of Northwest Regional Planning in the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail and other elements of growth in the county, I do think having 2 seats at the table is important for the town of Swanton.
Okay. And the reason I think I would do them separate is a new development review board person, a while to come up to speed. I would think we'd want someone a little more seasoned to be that rep on the board. That's just Joel Clark's opinion. And those are done via Zoom.
Correct. There's
Once a month.
there's 1 month that we don't meet, and then there's 1 month we do meet in person. So 10 Zoom meetings.
I know you're a very busy man, but I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in.
I am busy, but
It's Wednesdays,
it's Wednesdays.
and they're a great group of people. Don't let me sway you
I could do it.
What time is it?
What time? Yeah, what time is it?
though. 6:30.
6:30. And Zoom.
Zoom.
Okay, and then one in person.
Right.
Okay.
And that's generally in the St. Albans area, so
St.
it's-
Albans area.
Yeah.
Okay.
could be down at the Bay or in the St. Albans town offices.
Okay.
Thank you, Nick.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I think it's important that we have 2 on there too, because there's a lot of things going on. Swanton's a pretty large community for Franklin County. And, you know, we're kind of in the heart of a few things. You know, having a voice there at the table is very important, you know.
Okay, I'll bring it up. And I don't have any problem with it, I just wanted to hear, and Nick's
Uh,
willing to do it, we can make a motion to appoint him to that.
Okay, I'll move that we appoint Nick as our second representative to the Northwest Regional Planning Commission.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
So moved, thank you, Nick. I think
You're
it'll be,
welcome. And I abstain.
On the note of Northwest Regional Planning, though, Catherine's gonna reach out, I'm assuming to me or maybe to Brian. They're gonna wanna highlight, some of the work that we're doing in Swanton and some of their upcoming meetings, just so we can continue to promote ourselves and all of the work that we are hard at work doing in the community. It's also a fabulous networking opportunity to be a part of the Regional Planning Commission, and I'm very grateful that I get to represent our community on that board, and I'm excited for you to join me, Nick.
Thank you. When it comes to communication, will I put on like an email list and have some meetings and stuff? Okay, cool.
Brian, will you take a note to send a letter to Northwest?
Yep.
Give them Nick's contact info. Development Review Board, go out with an ad. Best people you can find for that are ones you can know and recommend it to them, but
Well, you're gonna post that position. Well, we should.
yeah, do we spend the money on an ad right now, or do we just post it on our different media right now? Just ask them.
It wouldn't hurt to put an ad for a couple of weeks anyway, but I would start posting it on the website and a sign out front.
I think with the sign out front and with our social medias, I think if we gave it 2 weeks to see the kind of reply that we get before we posted it
Before we
in
post it,
the
messenger.
messenger, because we're trying to target our local community. I think the power
Can
of
you,
word of mouth is better than the messenger.
Can you get that thing on a, I don't know, front porch? Do they got a front porch forum
I
as
can put it
well?
on front page
Yeah.
forum.
And then, how come, if you're on Facebook, you have to sign up to get Swanton stuff, right?
Shouldn't have to.
It doesn't automatically go to anybody.
Well,
Facebook.
they
So-
locked the account because of
What?
spam. they made the Swanton account, they met, imagine you talk about the Swanton Community Board.
Well, like if you just, say, if the world ended tomorrow, I was, got a Facebook account, okay?
The world would end if you got a Facebook.
Yes, it would. If I wanna get information from Swanton, I have to,
Like the page.
yeah,
That's all you have
Like
to
the
do.
day.
I know, but
But you have
it
to.
doesn't automatically go to everybody,
No,
okay?
You have to have
That's what I
you have to
was
have a Facebook account,
Yeah.
and then once you
I don't have to explain, I just, it doesn't go unless you want it.
right. But the reason why I'm explaining it because you might not be the only person in the community who
Okay.
doesn't understand how
That's
to
right.
do it. So when you find our Facebook page, make sure that you like and or follow. But there's an opportunity for you to do the drop down menu and put us in your favorites. So when there is communication submitted on our social media platform, it will come directly to your feed. And the more you engage with that feed, the more you're going to be involved in our algorithm, and the more our information is going to go to the top of your list. So,
So that's how you get it.
correct,
And the Swanton community page, you've gotta ask to get onto that.
correct.
Yeah.
But you have to be a member of that page to get the information, and then I am a top contributor to that page because I manage so many of the community's different Facebook pages that when I do share, generally I have approval to get my posts moved to the front of so when I'm posting something on the town's behalf or the rec's behalf, generally that will go right to the top of their queue to get submitted to be approved so that information is distributed in a timely manner.
Also, what's access, I've been logged into Facebook for so long. What's access like if you don't have an account at this point?
You can view a majority of the things on our town page because it's viewed to the public. I do believe the settings we have right now limit who can comment on some things, just because we want to make sure that we're just sharing information and not
Bickering back and forth.
correct.
As far as the Development Review Board, I would recommend maybe you and I would contact him as well. Anybody else who wants to is Brendan Long.
Yeah.
I think it would be great background information for him if he decides to throw his name in the hat again for the select board. So that's all that out there.
And it really shows how the community works. I'm impressed with it, how hard they work to make a project go through. Not that they're twisting and bending and breaking, but they work very hard. And they listen to both sides. I enjoy reading the minutes. I
But
think Brendan would be a good member of that.
I think, yeah.
that's probably one of the more heated boards in terms of getting people here and
Most people, well, there's two parts of it, because they combined it now. So the site plan review is what the planning commission used to do. But the old zoning board of judgment, most people, zoning board of adjustment, people are coming in because they got turned down by the zoning administrator, and it's an automatic move up to the, yeah, so you get people coming in there. We called the police one night, years ago.
yeah.
Any more on that? We're gonna move on. We did the Hodgson Brothers. Is that?
No, I said we did that.
Yeah.
I'm talking to myself.
That, no problem. RFP for interior paint in the town offices.
yeah. Some of the areas here in the town office, the walls are getting to look pretty drab. And it's been, I don't know, when was it last painted, Kathy, do you know?
Oh God, Mo was still here, so, and David Barney, so it's been
And like in
probably
Kathy's
10
area,
years.
the windows, when the new windows were put in, the big windows, they had
The molding was
the
smaller.
molding was smaller, so you can see that needs some,
You can see where there used to be a picture.
right. And then, yeah, in my office, you can see where a picture was hanging. Things of that nature, it kind of needs to be freshened up a bit.
That side, what about here and here too?
The whole,
Pretty much the whole
yeah,
building.
Right through the bathroom hallways.
Yeah.
We bought, how much money did we put in for building improvements for the town?
for the, it's 20,000.
20,000.
What if we get an RFP and we have them break it down by like 3 areas here? And then depending on the cost, we either go for it all or say,
Yeah.
you know, we start with this area first and.
Yeah, hopefully we get it all.
I don't know if everyone's
I,
comfortable
I
with
can
that.
see what needs to be done, but
I mean, the last time it was painted, the highway department did it in the winter.
didn't snow that winter, eh?
No, it was still winter.
Everyone good with that?
So you're gonna put that at our.
Yep.
Discussion of compensation for animal control officer.
Jim Benson, our animal control officer, has been, gets $350 a month.
No, that's our health officer.
Oh, what's the,
Six,
600 a month, and he's been at that for,
since he's been here.
yeah, for some time. He does a very good
5
job.
years.
5 years, yeah. So, you know, if we should look at probably increasing that. I'm not sure by, you know, how much, but
Has he asked for a specific amount?
he did mention,
He didn't
Not a
ask for
specific
it first.
amount,
He
but-
just said, do I ever get a raise?
So,
I said, oh my God, you have been here that long, haven't you?
so, you know, what we, it's certainly a job that if he wasn't doing it, I think it would be maybe difficult to fill.
Yes.
And as I said, he does a pretty good job. He's very receptive when something goes on. And so I was just putting this out there. We could,
Would it be fair to give, I don't know, we've given other municipal employees raises over the years.
right.
Could we take maybe an average of what we've done for the municipal employees? And,
Well, he's appointed, so I don't know how he would.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I just
Just to give you a
Yeah.
ballpark of what.
yeah, just,
Right.
you know, if we went to 4, 6, 8 or whatever, kind of average those and say, hey, you've done a good job.
Yeah.
This is what we've done on average over the past few years.
Well, if you average it at like 4% or say 5% over the time he's been there, that's 5 years, that's 25%, 25.
But I,
No, I wasn't gonna go with 25%, you know better than that.
but
I
I
know, see, but you just said that's what it would probably come out to if
But
if you took the years.
But our average would be, you don't add them up, you average, let's say it was 2 1 year and 3 and 4, your average is gonna be about 3% over the 5 years, which would be 15%.
Well, again, you take all 3 and the number, then you divide it by 3, that gives you the average.
Right, well, yeah, I think you said 5 years he's been,
Yeah, he was.
yeah, so I
appointed
just
when
threw
was
out 3 numbers, but you would take the 5 years and get the average of the 5. But I know that number's gonna come somewhere every, you know, in 2 or 3%.
Oh, sure,
because
yeah.
That, cause that's
Well,
what
we
we've
had
been
a year-
given, we did 4 this last time.
Yeah, and we had a year when, I think during COVID or something, didn't we bump everybody up about 8%?
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
It was a higher inflation, yeah.
I know.
So to be fair, you know, we're gonna have to
Should be
throw that
$12 a
number.
year.
Yeah, I
For
don't
5
know,
years.
it's, you know, if you wanna go up, it's gonna end up being up around $200 a month more. Somewhere in that range, 150, 200.
But would-
He gets mileage, right, mileage, and that rate gets adjusted every year federally, right?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, cause that's up 63 or.
70.
70 now, I thought.
70 cents a mile?
Yeah.
Even for the electric car? Well, again, if we go back and just do an average over the period of time he's been with us, then that'll be his new, we add that to his salary.
but if we wanna approve an increase tonight, we won't know what that increase
That's
is.
like, yeah, we ought to wait till we find out.
I guess if you wanna wait, I mean, I'd go with a flat 200 and then we can decide every year if we're gonna have that position, have the same increase as the rest of the,
Oh, he gets 600 a month now?
Yeah.
And around 200, what is that, 30%?
33.
33%?
33.
That's pretty, I mean, I'm not taking away from the good job he does, all I hear is good things, but that's a pretty good chunk of money.
I just soon wait and see the average 2 weeks isn't gonna make it or break it. He's
No.
aware that we're thinking about
And let
it.
him know we're gonna try to do
We're
something.
gonna
Yeah, sure.
do something.
Well,
Anybody else?
The first number that came to mind when I thought about it was maybe 100, but yeah, then I think average is a good
We need a
compromise.
base.
To me, it's a good show to him. We're doing what we did to the other employees, and then if we go 100, it's maybe less, and you might say, you know, why? And
Let's get our numbers and then we can act on it.
So you want the average for how many years?
the 5 years we
5
had
years,
him.
okay.
since he's been appointed.
Okay,
Yeah. You good with that, Nicole?
Yeah, I mean,
The
as long as
average
the town can
time is
afford
5
it.
years.
Yeah, that way it's fair to him.
I'm repeating.
Yeah, probably can't afford enough to do that.
I certainly don't wanna do his job.
8,
What can I do?
yeah, hard to find people. 8, the picnic tables.
Yeah,
People.
I was asked by Jay Barney if they've got a community organization that's looking to do community service work, and they'd be willing to build 2 picnic tables if if they would get the materials donated. So I said, well, we need to know what numbers are going to be, if I can even bring this to the board. This would be these tables would be located at the train depot part down there at the museum. So he did get numbers. Pressure treated lumber would be roughly $190 for each for the 2 tables, $380. And then Joel, Kathy thought did we have tables at the town garage? Do you know?
There were a whole set of tables stacked there for the,
I believe they belong to the
Chamber.
chamber and they're used for the car show.
Oh, okay. So they are in the chamber. I wondered what happened to those, but
And again, they want this to be a community service thing for probably the
yeah.
graduating seniors.
No, it's the Vermont Works for Women MVU Trailblazers group. They're coming in from May 27th to July 2nd, I believe, and they've reached out to most all community organizations for community service projects similar to this. The rec department's hoping to do the same.
I'll make a motion that we approve the amount of, right,
up to 400 maybe?
Up to 400. I
up
think.
to $400 for this purpose.
Well, second.
Motion's been made and second to approve up to $400 for the community improvement project for the Historical Society. Any further discussion?
One thing to keep in mind is, it's been brought up at board meetings in the past that, when we had picnic tables in there, vandalism was an issue. So, if we do put them there, it could be an issue, that's all, so.
Chain them to a tree. Oh yeah, good point, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good point.
Where are we taking the money from?
We got a miscellaneous in the general,
So do
right?
you just wanna take it out of the railroad depot expenses?
Sure.
Is there,
Because there's sufficient money in there to cover
Yeah.
it. We never use all the money that we budget, so I think
Yeah.
we
I'm
could
good
do,
with that.
we could do the $400 out of there and then,
everybody good with that?
And could that be reflected in my motion, Christina? Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Yeah, I'll just stick it here.
so moved. Okay, community economic development.
Nothing new to report.
Any progress on the graphic?
Yes, actually, I believe next meeting we'll be bringing,
We'll be bringing something
Yeah.
to you, hopefully next
yeah,
meeting.
we're
Okay,
making some progress. We got, actually seen some photos, pictures and drawings, and we kinda had some back and forth discussion with the, Swanton Motion Group and with the consultant, and, it's looking good.
So we should have a final graphic for the select board to approve if they're looking to do so or make any additional adjustments, then we can move forward
Yeah.
at next meeting.
okay, anything else, Brian?
No.
Any other necessary business? Correspondence?
Nothing.
I've got something on correspondence. Board members, emails from swantonvermont.org or emails in general. How many are still having problems?
Not this board.
Just me. But some of it's my own fault. I haven't been able to, I haven't decided whether I'm gonna do another computer or not. And we can't seem to get that one I got to do it anymore, so I guess I'm gonna have to get another one.
And the reason,
Bring
I'm
it to
just
me,
asking,
check it.
things like the TAC, I got it,
Yeah.
so I sent it to you and Brian. Brian said he wasn't on their email, so he's gonna add himself But if we know right now you can't, when something comes in,
Yeah.
we can get it to you, so.
Yeah,
that you're aware
you should right now, because I don't know if I'm gonna get it done this week or not.
that- And he gave you the meeting, I think it's the 18th or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, I got the stuff here.
Right,
yeah,
tonight,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I just,
Yeah.
if anyone's having problems, let us know, so we can make sure if something comes in that we think you should be aware of prior to the meeting, we can get hold of you.
So on the same note as the emails, you know, you have Jay Clark at swantonvermont.org. I still have
Yeah.
SLWB55. At what point do we archive the previous because I've got a selectman's email that's been a it was prior to me. At what point do we archive those and give each individual member their ndraper@swantonvermont.org email address? You know, because it should be archived per select board member as correspondence.
Can we just change the name on that?
I don't think so. You can change the name,
Right.
but you can't change it in the address.
Yeah, you can't. You'd have to create a new address.
So what?
Yeah,
Because everyone we do costs us money every time
Right,
we do
and
that.
then
We're like up to $5,000 a year.
Yeah, I don't know why we would change from the number, because we all serve a period that's defined and on record, so.
the problem comes was we had former select board members still getting their email.
Oh, cause they're not deleting the
The app.
path to get
But
there, okay.
I've changed my password several times, but
And so I don't know, and I heard from the other boards that they don't use it because they think it's this like SLB 22 something is stupid.
well, it's
Put it
hard for
plain
community
English.
members that, you know, they
Right.
want to reach me, they gotta look
Right.
through and see which SLB5 I am.
So
or
when
whatnot.
I don't know, when we started getting new people on board, either on the board or new employees, and so I said, well, this is ridiculous. It'll be like see candles at and, you know,
Okay.
and bro. So,
Maybe,
but the old emails have to be archived forever, basically, is the
Right.
problem, and that does get expensive. Now, I think at some point, when you reach the statute of limitations, those old emails should be able to be destroyed.
Can't you
No-
archive them on an external hard drive and
Well,
keep
that's,
them
I have to ask
fireproof
Peter.
safe?
I have to ask
Yeah.
Peter that.
and then you gotta be careful, cause hard drives and everything else in 10 years
Might be
may not
obsolete.
even work, but
Right.
the state should have a statute on records,
Yeah, they
like
do.
a public
Yeah.
records law, that probably says how long you gotta keep
Right.
them.
Right.
Like you said, it's probably 7 years statute of limitations.
Yeah,
The
whatever.
The feds had a limit.
Yeah.
You have a record retention policy, I'm sure they're all over the place.
Yeah, so I would say, I don't know how much it costs us to change a password, but if that's the case, that's part of the cost of doing business, I
It will
guess.
be, it's somewhat of the GoDaddy, our server, is not the easiest thing to work with. It takes a while, but, you know, but we can gradually start converting people.
You know what would be helpful too, maybe you could kind of give us an assessment of where we are, what the issues are, where we should be. It's hard for me to follow all this, I'm not up on technology like some of you are.
First of all,
So, it'd be good if you kind of gave us some of the position papers.
you know, one of the things, and not to be real, it's late, but yeah, one thing that I noticed right off the bat, and you know, I work in the bank, I could go to any computer, sign in and use that computer. In the State House, same way. We can't do that here. I can't go
I
out
think
and
it's
use.
part of the security too.
Yeah, I
It's
can't go
It's
out
what's
and use
required by our insurance company.
Yeah, your bank
It's
was
not.
all run,
that. Right.
and
Within-
the states run that way, but we're all separate.
Right. And that's why our
Entities.
cyber insurance.
But the-
is a bigger
the,
thing. Otherwise we don't get some.
I asked Peter what it would take to do that. Well, it can be done, but you're talking a massive amount of money.
What do you mean by massive?
Well, I don't know. He said it costs a lot of money. You have to really get into a big server and everything else. But you know, it's not a big deal. But you know, if you're trying to sit up front, so the other way we can do that is just when it's time to start replacing computers. Like I myself, you can get a laptop, and I can take that out with me and sit there. So that would. And then you can get a screen on your.
Because I can't use anything on the U drive or anything that's not plugged in,
you can't use the U drive.
Not when it's not plugged into my desk.
It's
The
gonna be out there.
drive's not on your computer, is it?
It is when it's plugged in.
Yeah, but,
Right, any
but
of
it's
us
not, it doesn't reside,
No.
No,
The
so
U
I-
drive does not reside.
so you could do emails and stuff at
Yes.
home and that sort of
Yes.
thing.
Well,
I
I'm not-
use my desktop at home, but I also use a Chromebook, which is $170.
Right.
Yes.
And that thing
Do a
works
lot
great
with
for
those
emails. It would
Yeah.
work
I'm
great for
not,
folks for
I'm
emails.
not saying taking it at home, but I would be like, if I'm out here, but for whatever reason I gotta sit out front, which doesn't happen very often, but it has, I just take it with me and I can keep working out there. But if I can't get into the U drive, then that won't work.
But you can
do
get
it
on,
that computer.
you can get
I
on the
do.
U drive on that computer.
That's what
Once
I
you
do
open the
when I'm
computer,
doing
you can
that.
get on the U drive.
On this
You can go anywhere. All of our information is shared on the U drive, so you can go and get into
Yeah, but I
anything on the U
gotta
drive.
sign in somebody's computer.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know
The
what their
passwords
password.
are pretty.
You can set up a user account on the
Yeah.
computer so you can have your own
Yeah,
user
user
account
number
Yeah.
to get
Yeah, I
in.
would hope you could sign in with your password on that computer.
too. Well, you
No,
can get,
that's-
everyone has their own individual passwords for their computer, but you can have more than one user on the computer.
Right.
You just
yeah,
sign
I
as user one or user two.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, okay, well, that's, okay, then what is a cheaper way of doing that then?
But I mean, overall, I mean, there may, and there may be more efficient ways to do things, there may be less expensive ways to do things. I can't imagine we're the only municipality that has this problem, there's gotta be some, some more efficient ways out there, it's something that we should consider as technology is going to advance, we need to stay current with that.
And
How many people have letters and numbers versus like J.
Me,
Clark?
Earl, and Steve.
I got it, I got letters, got numbers. and
numbers, yeah,
Okay.
three.
And I got old
The planning
email.
commission and the DRB has old ones too.
Yeah. I think we should work, maybe, like you say, getting some bullets together and work toward getting it switched over.
Yeah, we might be closer than we think to something, but we don't know where we're starting from.
Right.
But, you know, if you're having
Not
an
the
issue
same
and
but
this GoDaddy's not that easy to work with, then you should talk to Peter to come up with, are there other alternatives out there?
There are,
There's
but
gotta
he shut right off, and you can't get past it, and I started complaining about it from the day I came in to work here, I don't like it. Well, Peter is very good at what he does, but he's GoDaddy all the way, so it's,
It's like going to a Snap-on guy. He's going to want to say Snap-on
Okay.
tools, of course,
That's right.
but there's other tool companies out there.
so, but there are other companies, and and then what you all have to do is authenticate your email.
That's probably what Earl needs to
And
do.
that's what Earl needs to do with your cell phone.
According to Nicole, she'll help you.
Yeah, that's now a security thing. When people on other boards have complained about it,
Yeah, I
I
did that
watched,
the last time when I had that other.
and I watched the meeting in question. It's like, we've told them, Christina has told them that they need to authenticate it, and if they're having problems, to come in and with your cell phone to assist you. Well, they haven't come in, so that's where we are. But
Most people
Alright.
on the other boards have access to their emails.
no, they aren't getting it because
Yeah.
they want to authenticate it, and then they don't
They don't do it.
do it. So.
All right, I didn't know I was gonna get that can of worms quite so far open, but we'll move on. Public comment? Thanks for coming, Bob.
If I can just share too.
Yep.
I'll take one, pass it around for everybody. I'm just very excited about the work Swanton Recreation's been doing. We have the opportunity to share some information with you guys and with our community stakeholders. May is Youth Appreciation Month, and we have a whole slew of programs to appreciate youth and also to support their mental health, as it is also National Mental Health Awareness Month. With some support from MVSD After School, we've got some phenomenal programs coming out for our teen leaders. And then we're collaborating with some of our community partners on creating something really special for all ages. Just wanted to share.
Thank you. Upcoming events.
Wednesday, May 7th, 2025, the Planning Commission is hosting their public hearing on zoning bylaw revisions at 6 p.m. here at the town offices and by Zoom. Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, the regular Select Board meeting will be at 6 p.m. here at the town offices and by Zoom. Thursday, May 22nd, 2025, the DRB meeting will be at 6 p.m. town offices and by Zoom. Monday, May 26th, 2025 is Memorial Day. Our town offices and operations will be closed. Monday, May 26th, 2025 will be the Memorial Day parade at 2 p.m.
Swanton Depot Museum is having National Train Day on Saturday from 10 to 3. We'll have the model train set out, so it should be fun.
May 10th?
Yeah, May 10th.
May
When are you
10th?
gonna put the flags up?
We'll put them up Saturday before,
The Saturday before.
24th.
Yeah,
24th of May?
Yes.
yeah, the Saturday before. Memorial
And I
Day.
just wanna put in a plug for Memorial Day. I help with some of the folks. If anybody has something that they think they'd like to put in regarding a float or something, Adam Paxman is someone you can contact, but highly encourage community involvement. If you're doing it, try to do it something with a patriotic theme and so on, but really would like to see the Memorial Day parade get bigger every year. And hopefully we can have that conversation in the next week or
let me
so,
know.
cause I will try to get a banner made up.
Okay, let me know. You know.
No, see if you'll do it.
Yeah,
If you'll touch base with
Yeah.
it. Yep.
In addition, I'd also like to note that the townwide community garage sale will be May 24th. You can sign up for that on Swanton Rec's website. There's some information on how to sign up. And then May 24th and 25th will be the Abenaki Heritage Festival at Swanton Recreation. To find more information about that, you can go to the Abenaki's website.
Oh, it's a busy weekend.
Very
Hopefully
good.
weather will cooperate.
Yeah, we're gonna, for the flags again, 9 o'clock here.
Yeah.
Executive session,
No.
motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn at 8:04 p.m.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded to adjourn. All in favor state aye.
Aye.